All right, so picture this Tuesday in Ahmedabad,
Uh-huh.
right? But not just anywhere in Ahmedabad. We're talking this Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Memorial. And usually on a Tuesday, you'd think things would be pretty quiet, a place steeped in history. But not this Tuesday. This Tuesday, the air was thick with strategy.
Lots of strategizing going on.
Oh, yeah. This was a major meeting of the Congress Party's top brass.
A pivotal gathering, you might say.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to deep dive into today, folks.
That's right.
This wasn't just any old meeting. This was the Congress Working Committee. We're talking the CWC, the big wigs, the people who set the course for the entire party. And they were meeting right before an even bigger event, the All India Congress Committee session. The AICC, so think of it like the inner circle, getting their ducks in a row before they present the plan to the whole team.
You got it.
So forget the headlines for a minute and let's get behind the scenes. What were they really talking about in that CWC session, and what does it tell us about the future of the Congress Party?
Because, let's face it, when a political force like the Congress starts shifting gears, it sends ripples throughout the entire landscape. And whether you're glued to every political development or just trying to get a sense of the big picture, understanding these internal dynamics can be really enlightening.
Absolutely. And to give you a sense of the scale of this thing, we're talking almost 170 people gathered in that space. The party presidents, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, a whole slew of senior leaders, state unit presidents, you name it. They were all there.
It was quite the assembly.
Oh, yeah. Former chief ministers, members of parliament. It was a real who's who of the Congress Party. Clearly, they were trying to present a united front as they hashed things out.
And that number alone, I think, speaks volumes about the importance they were attaching to this particular moment, projecting this image of a party coming together to tackle the challenges ahead of them.
Right. And with so many big names in one room, there had to be some serious issues on the table.
Yeah.
So what were the big ticket items they were grappling with?
Well, from what we can gather, a few key priorities rose to the top.
Lay it on us.
First off, you've got those upcoming state assembly elections, those regional battles that often set the stage for the national scene. They were definitely dissecting their strategy for those.
Right, because those assembly elections, they're kind of like testing the waters,
Exactly. You get a close-up view of the regional dynamics, the local issues that are bubbling up, and you can test out different campaign tactics. And the results, well, they often give you a good sense of the national mood, which way the wind is blowing.
Yeah, like a sneak peek into the bigger picture.
Precisely.
Now, aside from election talk, there was a lot of buzz about internal restructuring. It seems they're looking to shake things up a bit, give the party's operational framework a bit of an overhaul.
Yeah, a little rejuvenation never hurt anyone, right?
Exactly. And they seem to realize that they need to adapt their machinery, if you will, to the current political climate.
Well, that's a constant challenge for any political party that's been around for a while, isn't it?
For sure.
Keeping things fresh, relevant. You've got to constantly reevaluate your approach, how you're engaging with members, how decisions are being made, how you're connecting with people at the grassroots level. It's all part of staying in the game.
Now, one thing that really caught my eye was this talk of shifting power dynamics. There were discussions about empowering the district Congress committees, those local units that are really the party's boots on the ground, the ones interacting with voters day in and day out.
And that's a really interesting development.
Oh, yeah.
Because it suggests that they're recognizing the importance of grassroots action, realizing that effective politics needs to be grounded in local realities. And who better to understand those realities than the leaders who are embedded in those communities?
Right. They're the ones with their fingers on the pulse.
Exactly. So this move to strengthen the district committees, if it gains traction, could be a real game changer. It's about injecting energy and responsiveness at the ground level.
So essentially what we're seeing here is a major political party taking a good hard look in the mirror, doing some serious soul searching, figuring out how they can tweak their blueprint for the future.
And maybe even redistribute power within the organization.
Exactly. And that brings us to the main event. This whole CWC huddle was the pregame show for the All India Congress Committee session set to kick off on April 9th. And get this, they chose a very symbolic location for this, gathering the banks of the Sabarmati River in Ahmedabad, specifically positioned between the Sabarmati Ashram and the Kakrab Ashram.
Talk about strategic location selection.
Oh, it's loaded with symbolism, for sure. I mean, the Sabarmati River, its ties to Mahatma Gandhi's life and work as ashrams, it carries so much historical and emotional weight for the Congress Party and for India as a whole.
It's a powerful setting.
They even came up with a specific theme for this AICC session, Nyaypath, Sankalp, Samarpan, or Sangharsh, which translates to path of justice, resolve, dedication, and struggle.
It's a message designed to resonate.
Oh, it's evocative. It speaks to their commitment to their core values, their readiness to face the challenges ahead with determination.
And let's not forget the sheer scale of this AICC session.
It's going to be massive.
We're talking over 1,700 elected and co-opted AICC members, all converging in one place. It's essentially a political convention in miniature.
A mini political extravaganza.
Exactly, and it's a logistical feat to pull that off, bringing together representatives from every nook and cranny of the country. This session is their platform to formally endorse the strategies laid out by the CWC to broadcast their vision and plans to a wider internal audience.
So let's unpack this choice of location a little more. Why Ahmedabad? Why now?
Well, it's not just a random pin on the map.
Oh, definitely not.
This year, 2025, marks two pretty significant anniversaries.
Fill us in.
First, it's the centennial anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi taking the helm of the Congress Party.
Wow, 100 years.
100 years, and it also happens to be the 150th birth anniversary of another prominent figure from Gujarat, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Two giants of Indian history.
Exactly. Foundational figures who were instrumental in India's fight for independence and in shaping the Congress Party's early years. So by holding the AICC session in Ahmedabad during this commemorative year, the Congress is making a deliberate effort to draw strength from its historical roots, to connect its present actions with the legacies of these iconic leaders.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, look at where we came from, look at what we've achieved, and now we're carrying that torch forward.
Precisely.
And, Gujarat holds a special place in the Congress Party's history since its inception.
Yeah.
Way back in 1885. They've held 5 sessions in the state. This upcoming one will be the 6th.
Making it 6.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that this is only the 2nd time they've chosen Ahmedabad in the post-independence era. Yeah. So this location is very intentional.
Yeah.
Very symbolic.
It's a calculated move, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Leveraging the weight of history, the symbolism of Gujarat, the influence of these towering figures. It's all about revitalizing the party's image, both internally and in the eyes of the public.
Now, before heading into the AICC session, the CWC had one crucial task to tackle: finalizing the resolution that would be presented and debated there.
Right, that all-important document.
They even had a special drafting committee, a group of top leaders meticulously crafting every word.
The resolution is essentially their mission statement. It outlines their stance on major issues, their roadmap for the future, their approach to the upcoming elections, and that organizational restructuring we talked about.
So the big reveal.
Exactly. It's all about clarity, coherence, making sure their message hits the mark.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into all this Congress action in Ahmedabad, what are the key takeaways you, the listeners, should really walk away with?
Okay, so first and foremost, it's clear that the Congress Party is in a period of deep strategic reflection and planning. With those upcoming state assembly elections looming large, the CWC meeting was all about fine-tuning their approach.
They're getting their game plan in order. Yeah. And a big part of that game plan seems to be this push for internal rejuvenation. Sprucing things up at the organizational level, strengthening those connections with everyday voters.
Absolutely. And that potential move to empower the district Congress committees, that's something to keep an eye on, suggests a willingness to decentralize, to give more power to local leaders who are closer to the people they represent.
Yeah, pushing power down to the grassroots.
Precisely.
And all this groundwork, all this strategic maneuvering, it's all leading up to that AICC session on the banks of the Sabarmati River.
A historic setting for a potentially pivotal moment.
The chosen location, the theme, Nyaypath, Sankalp, Samarpan, or Sangharsh. It all speaks to the party's attempt to honor its past while charting a course for the future.
It's about bridging the gap between legacy and progress.
Now, here's a question for you to ponder. If the Congress is serious about empowering those local units, what impact could that have on their relationship with voters? Could we see a more localized, a more effective way of addressing the diverse needs of different regions across India?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
A stronger grassroots presence could definitely lead to a more nuanced understanding of local issues, more tailored messaging. But the real test will be in the execution. Can they effectively implement this decentralization and coordinate across such a massive organization?
Because it's one thing to talk about change, it's another to actually make it happen.
Exactly.
And how will this organizational facelift, as they're calling it, how will it affect their performance in those crucial elections? Will these changes translate into votes?
Well, the ballot box will tell the tale, won't it?
It always does.
Whether they can energize the party machinery at all levels and truly connect with voters, that remains to be seen. It's a high-stakes gamble for sure.
So one last food for thought, considering the deep historical roots of the Congress Party, especially in a place like Ahmedabad. Can a political organization with such a long and complex past, can it truly adapt to the ever-changing landscape of today's politics?
It's a challenge they're not alone in facing.
Not at all.
The question is, does this Ahmedabad session mark a turning point, a real shift in direction, or is it more of the same, just with a fresh coat of paint?
That's for you to decide.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
It'll be interesting to watch it unfold.
It sure will, folks. And that's a wrap on our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring those deeper questions.
And keep an eye on that political landscape.
Always.
It's never a dull moment.
You got that right.
Never a dull moment.
All right, folks, take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.